Okay, now that your printer is connected, some basic things about the layout of this program called MatterControl is you can add your STL files right down here at the left side, so you can pick from any STL files that you have. They'll be added here, and you can see the default is a calibration box. You can do some basic functions to this box by clicking the edit button down here. Things like rotating, maybe in SolidWorks you modeled it on the wrong axis, so the front axis is actually used as the build plate in these programs. You can scale the object either uniformly or not. So here I scaled the whole thing by 200%. If I uncheck the lock ratio, and then I can type in any one of these boxes and hit enter, and that will make it a cube. If I apply the scale here, it will undo what I've just done. Then you can make copies of the objects. You can click arrange so that they are centered on the build plate, and after you've done any of these, after you've completed all these edits, you're going to click save down here, and you're going to notice up here in the preview that our cross section will change. Usually this will update to show us the cross section of these boxes, so it'll show us that there are two squares side by side. The other thing that we can do is go into the settings, so this will control our print settings. And under settings, we would like to change some of these default settings because they are not what we're using. So under general, this is parameters related to the print, meaning like the layer height. So we're going to be using standard quality for most prints, which is 200 micron layers or 0.2 millimeters. Under infill, we can change this to 0.15 or 15%. As long as you write percent, it's okay. After you change any of the settings, you're going to have to click save to make sure that they are saved. Skirt and raft, support material, filament is the material that we're using. So we're using 1.75 millimeter filament. If we hit enter, save that. And we have a heated bed on these Cartesian kits, so we're going to change that to 60 degrees and click save down here. The heated bed will also allow us to print in ABS, which has some different temperatures associated with it. So by changing material here, it would change those temperatures that we're printing with and have our heated bed at. For the printer, we're going to make sure that under features we have the SD card reader checked off. Under extruder, you'll see that we have a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. This is the hole in the end. Everything else is fine. So under controls, we can control the axes moving. We can control X, Y, and Z, and this is basically how we'll check the functionality of our printer when we first connect it. We can extrude and retract filament, and you'll see the amount to move or extrude and retract is down here. We can also preheat, so based on the material that we've selected, it will put the nozzles to this the nozzle in the bed to these temperatures. You can also preheat by clicking the buttons up here, and if we change the material, it would change those numbers as well. Okay, this release button releases our stepper motors, so if we click that, we can manually move around our extruder in bed. Otherwise, they'll be locked. We can also, under options and G-code terminal, we can type in manual G-code, such as checking the end stop switches, which is M119. And if I click an end stop and type it in, you'll see that the X-min is at high. Here. And let's see what else. Okay, so if we have a print that's ready to go, let's pick another one. Actually, that's good for this video.